Hi guys, good afternoon, good evening. It is the 25th of the 5th, 2019, 7:06 p.m. London time. So like we usually do, I'm just going to wait for a few more people to get in before I get on to the topic of today. And then subsequently any TA requests that come in. So I'm just going to post the link around. So whoever's in here, if you're live with me, just give me a shout in the comments. I'll wait till there's about 5 to 10 people to start. Alright, 7 people is enough. So, perfect. This is a topic I've wanted to speak about quite a lot. And it's very relevant in the current market, in any market really. And if you're a trader, I think it's very important to consider this. So what do I want to talk about today? Today I want to talk about something called emotional capital, right? Which is a very fancy way of saying how much free good energy do you have in your mind, right? You know, if you want to define emotional capital as I'm defining it here, what you would say is that emotional capital can be defined as the mental equivalent of money in the bank, right? And you know how you use money to buy products, you use money to really achieve what you want in the world. Well, emotional capital is the precursor for not only money but trading too. So it's extremely important, because not only by understanding this is, in my opinion, your trading going to be improved, but it just improves your life in general, right? I wrote in the interview with Tortu, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that I'm very grateful for have learned how to trade and been in the trading game, and it's for this reason, because it disciplines you into learning how best to prop up your emotional capital on a regular basis, right? What's up, Ben? Right, so this is the topic of today, and I've given you kind of relevance on why we're going through it. So I've written, put it this way, whilst the bank account will display dollar signs, an exuberance of emotional capital will display itself in many different ways, right? So here, if you've got very large amounts of emotional capital, this is the side effect that will generate, right? Obvious side effects: clarity, happiness, edge, understanding, stoicism, I've said that already, detachment, intrigue, giving, lack of neediness, self-esteem, right? So when we talk about emotional capital, the side effects of having a large amount of emotional capital is this, right? Emotional capital being like money inside a bank account, right? You can spend when you need it. So then begs the question, right? What do you spend emotional capital on? How do you build it? How do you get rid of it? How do you control it? Because if you have money, you want to know how to make money, right? So you can spend money, but this stuff, how do you make it and how do you control it? Well, before I get on to that, some people define this general amalgamation of all these terms as self-esteem, right? But this is kind of a more exhaustive list of what hides inside your vault. So consider your mind a vault, right? And consider these different pieces of gold that are inside your mind, right? And depending on how much gold you have inside your mind will kind of give you certain performance in life and in trading. So this is the reason why you want it, right? Again, I'm getting this very, very clear right now, so the attention is good when I get onto this. The reason why you need it is because it helps you trade effectively, it helps you be more healthy, it helps you stay calm, and everything you want is a precursor of this, right? Or is superseded from this. So without this stuff, so this is what it gives you, right? Without this, what happens? Your progress diminishes. You take shit trades. You just can't think clearly. So the distinction needs to be drawn because look, you are either in two states, right? And you might be transitioning from one to the other, but either you are doing well in your trading and in life, or you are not, right? It's just like that. Either you're in peak state or you are not. Okay, you have kind of states in between, but I think it's very useful just to define whether you're in state or you're not in state, right? As far as trading goes, because if you don't work in certainties, then it's not useful, right? It's not useful. So you're either in or you're out. If you're outside the box, you know, if your mental vault is not filled, your progress diminishes. You take shit trades. You can't think clearly. You don't feel good. You might maybe running after things, etc. And really, where this lies is, look, stoicism, self-esteem. But what this does, emotional capital, is it fills you up, right? That you don't need anything else to fill you up. And that's the premise of why it helps you achieve clarity, happiness, edge, understanding, detachment, whatever. It's because you already feel full, right? You have something satisfying you, which kind of dictates that you're not a person who particularly needs something, right? And it's usually people who need things that don't get them, right? It's people that don't need things in life that usually, funnily enough, get them, right? And the reason I can talk about this is because I implement this on a daily basis. I'm not perfect. I sometimes go to here and then go back and then go to here and go back. I mean, I don't think anyone is perfect. But I know how to talk about it because I can ping pong between the two, hence you distill what the differences are, right? So as I said, just as we spend dollars, we also spend emotional capital, right? Energy, emotional energy, poise, balance, whatever you want to call it. It's all a metaphor for the same word, right? So then it means that it's up to us to reaccumulate. Okay, if you imagine that you have your Netflix to pay for, if you imagine that you have your wife to pay for, your house to pay for, you need to be consistently generating money. Am I correct, right? So when you're in the trading world and when you are in life in general, there are things that tax you consistently, right? There are things that tax your mind. You know how we talk about the word tax as being troublesome, trials and tribulations. A perfect crossword to put in here, okay? You get taxed. And tax is anything that tries to knock you off balance, take your emotional energy, take your poise, aka rob you of your emotional capital, right? And so what happens in real life if you don't pay your bills? You're fucked. You're fucked. The Buddhists describe this in the scriptures as an ill thatched roof. So this is completely cliche and common as far as scriptures go, right? Meaning that if the mind is not tended to, water will leak through into the mind and it won't be able to perform properly, right? This is again a different angle about what I'm supposing, okay? So then the question is, what gives you more and what robs you, right? What gives you more and what robs you? Let's separate the two categories. Let's separate both of them out. So what creates emotional capital and what removes? Right? I framed it very clearly for you guys to understand. This shouldn't be foreign to you if you have some inkling of awareness, right? But we want to skip past the platitude because it's the implementation of this stuff that is where the money lies, right? It's not in understanding it. If you understand this shit, it's fine. But you need to implement it. What creates emotional capital? Okay. Routine, visualization, affirmation, diet, rest, purpose. Why do I highlight the obvious right now? Well, if you skip these, you are lacking in sufficient edge. It's that simple. Okay, you take basketball players, you take the top traders in the world, you take people at prop firms, you take, CEOs of great companies, right? All of them do this. Why do they do this? Because the world is consistent at attacking, right? The world likes to attack your mind frequently. And these are how you keep filling up your bank account so you can pay the necessary tax. What do I mean by necessary tax? Okay, what takes from your emotional capital? Right, so this is in a trading frame now, right? Having to deal with loss. Reading, this is a very interesting one, reading people arguing on Twitter, right? Not sticking to a plan. Getting frustrated. Over-exercising. Yes, that's a thing. Under-exercising, right? Lack of oxygen. Bad thought. Overuse. Abuse. Waking up late. Inertia. Arguments. Sloth and torpor. Ad infinitum, right? This is something that runs parallel. I.e., what is it during the day that robs your energy? And don't get me wrong, you're living in an imperfect world, right? You're going to have things that take you, right? When you have a loss in trading, do you think anyone likes to take a $1,500 rip, right? Does anyone like that? Honestly, no one likes to take a $1,500 rip, right? No one likes when they don't stick to their plan and fall into something. No one likes when they get frustrated, right? No one likes when they feel tired. No one likes when they wake up late, when they're in the middle of an argument, right? And any or all of these things detract from your emotional capital. So say in your mental bank account, you have 1,000 pieces of gold, right? Not only do you have living tax, so as you wake up every day, your mind works against you anyway, right? That's what I mean by living tax, is that, if you don't do these things, your mind just ends up decaying anyway. But these take 10 pieces of gold away per, right? So just imagine it in that way. Why am I stating the obvious and why am I reframing this? To get past the platitude of this entire subject, right? What you have to do to keep your emotional capital high is you have to get up at the same time in the morning. You have to do your affirmations in the morning. You have to visualize. You have to see yourself consistently to be consistent, right? It's not good enough, for example, saying I'm going to do this and having some willpower, right? You have to see it. And sight is a simple way to top up the bank account. So how do we top it up? I've stated up there, but I'll state in a more detailed manner. So how do we top it up, right? And I've said routine, right? So you need to be waking up at the same time every single day. Why? Because that's good for your serotonin and dopamine levels, right? And if these are not strong, a lack of this will lead you to be making, serious mistakes. Because a lot of mistakes in the trading market come from greed, unsatisfaction, lack of patience, right? So let me give you some marijuana, right? Let me give you, a sedative. What happens is your greed will go away, your unsatisfaction away, and your lack of patience will go away. Why? Because you are full of dopamine, you're more relaxed, you're more calm, you're more composed, right? Don't take it too literally, but you understand where I'm going to, right? The more you have this inside of you, the less you make trading mistakes, okay? And you top it up regularly by sticking to routine, right? Seeing yourself, so visualizing. And visualizing can be done in the morning, it can be done in the nighttime, it can be done while you're walking, it can be done with people, right? So if you have a loss, a drawdown, you say to yourself, right, cool. Close your eyes and you remind yourself of not only where you've been, but where you're going, right? It's a form of visualization. Affirmations are, there's many different ways to do them, but let's just say that I like to say, I am the best, right? If someone says to me, "Yo, like, how are you?" I just say I'm the best. I'm not talking about ignorance, right? But I'm talking about consistently revisiting a place in your mind that's warm, right? That's what an affirmation is. You warm yourself up, right? Next, diet. Man, if you're eating Pop-Tarts all day, of course, it's so obvious, right? You're not going to be operating well, right? But your mental bank account is going to be low because it's going to be an action in your day that takes from you, doesn't give to you, right? When we see people going through very disciplined routines of visualization, affirmation, diet, rest, purpose, etc., right? All the different things that give you emotional EQ, right? What we really mean is it allows freedom. It's things in their day that adds to them. It doesn't take away. So then let's go back, ping pong back to what takes away from your emotional capital. For example, this is one of the biggest one, which is why I hate logging into Twitter, right? Reading people arguing on Twitter. Why does that take away from your emotional capital? It does it because when you read things like this, you have to put it this way. When you read things, you have a narrative running in your own mind, right? Your own mind reads that back to you. And the imagination is a very, 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 very powerful thing. Whether you know it or not, reading an argument from someone is your brain reciting that. When your brain recites that, it has to kind of frame itself in that way for a brief period of time, taking on that primarily short-term physiology, right? For example, if you're reading arguments all day, you're going to be more predisposed to hating on people than if you'd never read an argument in your entire life, right? Do you understand? It's really a whole thing about who are you surrounding yourself with and what habits are they getting you into, right? Where's your attention being turned? And I'm not drawing a stone on just this particular one, but it's just an example of how very small things, death by 1,000 cuts, can rob you, right? You get robbed daily. Small things that you might not even think about. Watching the news, saying bad things to someone, right? Abusing someone else, overusing your system, staying behind a screen too long, not getting enough breath in your lungs. And you need to be doing the opposite of every single one of these to have an edge. I don't know why people don't talk about this so much in trading. I think probably because it's not very glamorous. But it's my intention just to honestly say what I think, because when I do these things to a tick, right? When I follow my schedule to a tick, when I keep my blood sugar under control, if I'm feeling negative, if I go and reset myself, right? If I remind myself, if I had a 5% drawdown, okay, remind myself, look, you're up 40% for the month. Does it matter? That warms you up straight away, right? If I've been scalping for 6 hours and there's a lot of nervous energy in my body, maybe I'll go and have a meal that suffices me. Now again, it's not about the meal. It's about propping up the mental warmth, right? The gold in the mental vault. Because once you have gold, you're sitting pretty, right? And more things come to people who sit pretty than people who do not, right? People that chase, people that are nervous. And that's really all I wanted to touch on. It's not exhaustive at all. It's not at all exhaustive. But it is very important. It's the difference between being able to find joy in reviewing your trades, as weird as that sounds, and not, basically, and getting frustrated every 5 seconds, right? And to close this, right, man who is happy does not get frustrated. How do you achieve happiness? Aside from the chase. That's the whole point, right? I think I posted a quote the other day, but Mark Douglas says it in his book as well. Probably cliche, but it's, if the markets have any premise to control your mind, you're doing it the wrong way, right? You need to be in control before you see volatility in the markets, okay? So that's the kind of topic done. And again, it's fairly obvious, I find. But I wanted to highlight the day-to-day life in terms of tax, okay? Tax being shit food. Tax being reading bad arguments. Tax being taking a loss. all these things, and we need to hedge against them if we are to be high performers. Hey, what's up, guys? All right, so that's the lesson done. Does anyone have any questions, primarily on specificities of this? Okay, do you have any specific questions underlying this topic today? If not, then I'll get on to a few requests. Hey, no problem, lazy man. No problem at all. It's hard to extrapolate the entire subject, I find, because it's not so simplistic as it sounds, right? It's really not as simplistic as it sounds. Because when you think about it, there's a lot more to performing highly than just understanding, right? You have to fill your mind up with gold all the time. And essentially, I did say, look, you have to feel good, but it doesn't mean going to get a blowjob, right? Because it's a different way to feel good. Yeah. So Mike, you made a great problem. You made a great point that I completely didn't think of, right? So if we get this list that comes back down, the worst thing from this I find is overuse of pressure, right? So if you're put under pressure, what happens is your mind just freezes, right? If you don't know how to deal with it, your mind just freezes. I would say someone that works well under pressure is full of emotional capital. But in essence, if you're trading, right, and you need to pay the bills every month, you're fucked, right? You're fucked. That's robbing you every 5 seconds because it's a mental frame. You're saying to yourself, basically, you're saying to yourself, fuck, gotta pay. That's the vibration, the narrative that goes through the mind, right? You know, imagine you're on a football field, right? Someone was saying, and you said, "Oh, I have to." I know, maybe a football field's not the right metaphor. I think trading's the right metaphor. Yeah, the pressure can fuck you, and pressure is a death by 1,000 cuts. It's literally day by day. Oh, I have to make money, so this, and it doesn't allow you to be patient, right? Yeah, no blowjobs, man. Trading is lonely, bro. Yeah, I felt very lonely when trading. You know, I'll be very transparent about that. Ever since I started trading, I mean, I have the ability to be very, very shut away for long periods of time. I've trained my mind to do this over the years. But trading is extremely lonely. It's extremely lonely. And this is also why it's so important to do this stuff, man. This is why it's so important to do this stuff. Right? Because, you know, when you're feeling lonely, it's even worse. You know? If you're segregating yourself from types of people that just don't add to your life, well, then you become lonely, you know? And so then it's even more important. And the main thing I can say about all of this is routine, right? Consistency breeds consistency. Do you know what I mean? If you feel consistent, if you are consistent, why would the next thing you be not be consistent? Do you understand? It's like if you take 3 steps, why would you not take the 4th step? Momentum is very powerful. So if you can't find consistency in trading, maybe find it in tidying your room every day, you know? Or maybe find it in cooking your meal at the same time every day. Hence the idea of routine. Yeah, but guys, like, it's not glamorous. Trading is not glamorous, yeah? Again, pretty cliche comment, but it's not. My kind of goal with this is just to help sidestep, you know, mental problems just by getting some of you to think about, are you doing things daily to warm you up consistently, you know, because it's lonely, it's cold, right? It's a cold place, man, sitting behind a screen looking at a fucking chart 24 hours a day, waiting for, I don't know, mathematics on the screen and a ticker to arise, yeah? People will say, oh, you're a pussy if you can't do that, yeah? If you can't, just ignore these motherfuckers, man. Seriously. Go meet one trader that hasn't been through extreme amounts of stress, which is the next thing, which is why it's relevant, right? Do you want to go grey early? Do you know what I mean? If you don't, grey is another word for no emotional capital, right? It's not exactly like that, but you get it. So if this is anything, it can also be an urge for your own health and mind. It doesn't matter what kind of P&L you're drafting, right? You might be taking 10, 20k a month for trading. Right? I'm just saying, even if you're successful too, you can still be wearing out your mental reserves without realizing it. I've done it many times, and it's resulted in me personally just shutting my mind, just shutting down. Can't do anything, right? Just very unhappy. And yeah, sorry. So then I should mention the flip side, as you've mentioned, Tom. Trading is fucking fun as hell too. I love to sit here and solve puzzles, to work with the community, to find trade setups, to be rewarded for hard work, right? It's great. It's great to have the skill, man. I can appreciate it with you all day. Thank you for that, because I didn't appreciate it enough in this video. It's so important, deadly important to appreciate. I mean, if you crack the code, then you're literally, like my friend says, shaking coins out of the matrix, right? That's what you're doing. You're just raping the monetary system. So then the barriers to entry should understandably be very high, right? Okay, it doesn't seem like we have any other comments or additions to that. So does anyone have any chart requests? I can probably guess a few of them. I won't be going through the fundamental list today. I've drafted it up. I'm still doing my research, and I don't want to present any half-assed coin video of what I'm investing in this bull run, right? If it's confirmed. So we'll just go over coin requests right now. And whilst I'm waiting, I'm going to go on to LTC, because it's the talk of the town, right? So for me, it's rather simple. And if anyone knows how I can sort this out on my trading view, please tell me. Every time I load a chart, it's going flat, right? It's as simple as this. Yeah, it's really simple. When's the weekly close in 24 hours time? Weekly support, $90. Positive close, and it kind of insinuates more upside. Where are we? We're just beneath resistance. Where's resistance? At 115, 114. Primary profit taking point. Secondary, 125. So, I'm not going to be a raging bull on LTC, but I'm assuming that at the end of the week, if this closes positively, this will continue up, right? Entered around 95. As I spoke to you guys with, I mean, we entered originally at 85, took profit at 107, majority re-entered at 95 around here. 93, 95. And I mean, you know, for me, the trigger was a break and hold above 96, right? We done that. But initially I got long as soon as I saw this supply zone breaking, right? And when I saw a double bottom, significant volume came in. And if you look at the BTC pair, this is really what tipped me off here. I think my chart's still up. So as posted in the Discord, yeah, it was rather simple, right? I had forgotten I'd posted this as a bear trap region. So when we were up here, I thought, this would be a rather interesting region to go long at if somehow price got into here and just held, okay? Then I realized, hey man, this has happened because I hadn't checked the BTC pair. Stops rated, you get a fat wick down here, lots of volume traded, you know, barely any volume traded on the downfall, lots of volume traded, and you get an impulsive move over blue, which is around the time LTC a few days ago started trading at 94. It might roll over here and it might just consolidate in a square, right? I don't know. But going by the weekly and the daily for Litecoin, there's no reason for me to sell out. I'm happy to let this trade run its course. I can see a small retrace coming in, which actually may be finished. We'll see. You know, if this doesn't hold here, then there may be an opportunity if the market's looking positive at 95. I'd be very surprised if we get back down there, but I remain bullish as long as the weekly closes well. Yeah, T-Fuel. Oh man, I hate charting new coins, right? T-Fuel BTC, right? Let's get on to... I don't know where the ticker's gone, man. Yo, Z, let me know the name of the ticker. It's that Ibrahim guy again. We done Litecoin. Yeah, we've done Litecoin, bro. Neo and BTT. Alright, cool. Neo is rather easy. So I'm waiting for... Alright, I'll answer all those questions shortly. Yeah, Neo is rather easy, right? I've done this A, B, C, D, E thing just to label the triangle that we're in. Either breaks up or it breaks down, and my bias is towards an up break, right? 40%. Simple. I'm not taking it yet. I'm waiting for the break because of the percentage rise that we have to go from here. Yeah. So I'll look to take that on the break, unless I see just movements from something else for me to take it easily. I'm not comfortable preempting in the current market with Bitcoin just flagging around in case it does break down. You know, I'm cool to take outperformers, you know, Scalp and Matic and stuff that we took today. Yeah, if you could tell me how to find it on TradingView again. I found it earlier on, Z, but that's it. Yeah, so the guy that asked me about Neo, man, there is a... You know, if we get another touch on the bottom of this triangle, it's a very low risk trade, right? What I'm going to be doing, or what I may do, is again what I usually do, right? Fill small amounts close to the bottom, and then, you know, if we move off, compound to get a average price halfway between, right? So that'll help you displace risk and also help you take it whilst Bitcoin is doing what it's doing, you know? So an initial fill down here, small fill, very small, for 30% of position. Then as it starts to move away, add on, and then breaks out, add on, right? Yeah, I'll be looking to catch the retest. It depends if it depends how long it holds for. So what I'll do is if it breaks out, right? It depends on the quality of the candle. If I go to a lower time frame, I'll be looking at the books. I'll be looking at the candle. If it's too impulsive, then I'll take a short-term retest, you know. But if it's not, then I'll wait, right? You'll see by the amount of volume that comes in. For me, if I take things on retest or I take them on breakouts, it's usually conditional on the scope of the breakout and also the walls that are in front of the books, you know. I don't always get it right, but there's times I just mark execute into things. There's other times I just take my foot off the gas. It's like EOS. I didn't buy into EOS. I'm waiting for a retest. Okay, we want BTT. Yeah, BTT is very simple for me, Tom. It's very simple. Jesus Christ. One sec, guys. Okay. Same thing applies for me for BitTorrent. It's a higher time frame bias. Fuck me, man. There's a lot of stuff here. I do apologize. Give me a sec. Right. So, yeah, higher time frame bias for me is rather simple, right? It's really simple stuff. Volume is not looking too bad. It's not matching this impulse candle here, but there's a lot of volume traded on the weekly. I think we head up to around 1500 before I consider taking majority of profit. That's simply it. Weekly bias. Is there any specific time frame you were thinking about, Tom? Because I'm only playing this on higher time frames right now. T-Fuel BTC, right? Bro, it's not coming up. I had it up earlier on as well. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. Unless I'm properly being spasticated right now, which you can see I'm typing this shit in, but it's not coming up. They probably removed it for being a scam, man. Yeah, Tom, I think if I'll stay on BTT until Z helps me figure this out, but the daily's kind of flagging around. It's not doing too much. You had a lot of sell pressure that was exchanged here, but the daily ripped through it. Now we haven't made a new all-time high yet, but I suppose for me it's coming. My bias is bullish and it continues to be bullish until I really see something that indicates, right, cool. I was thinking here, sellout time, but I literally instead switched bias and bought more at 103. Just in case it does start to dump and I miss the top, then I can just scalp in or swing intra-local time frame and prop up the money pot. Yeah, Ben, if BTC pumps, the BTC pairs will die, right? It's rather simple. You can't find it either, bro. Yeah. Ben, you were asking if these BTC pairs, yeah, the BTC pairs will get fucked. If you look historically, most of the time they get drained, right? When BTC pairs do not get drained is when you've been in a consistent downtrend with both Bitcoin and Bitcoin pairs, right? When everything has been in just a horrible downtrend, when you get a signal from Bitcoin that the market's turning bullish, then I've seen that money flows into alts simultaneously. You do get positive correlation, but in these types of climates, people just sell out of BTC pairs to buy into BTC. But again, even then, you know, on the buy side, if BTC starts rallying and then BTC pairs start rallying, you're all good, right? It's just difficult to be overexposed close to impulsive movements on BTC unless you are playing with something that historically goes against the grain, right? Something that historically goes against the grain being Quark Chain, for example. But it's not really doing too much at the moment. Be an interesting setup coming for Quark if we can pierce this line over here. Next resistance is what? Fair point away, right? Yeah. 430. Alright, let me copy and paste that, David. Yeah, it's not coming up, man. I've been scammed, man. Yeah, it's fine, man. If you don't want to trade right now, don't trade, bro. That's good. What else was given to me? Neo, BTT, just can't get up T-Fuel. Does anyone else have any pairs they want looked at? Else I'm going to close the live stream, man. Z, did you want to ask me something about the fibs earlier on, or did you understand? Did you sort it all out? Yeah, they will do, man. They all do. You're right, man. You're right, Tom. I'll give it 2 more minutes and then I'm going to conclude this live stream to go have some dinner. You want VET BTC, David? Right, let's look at VET BTC. In fact, we'll look at the USDT pair, it's better. Don't know if I'm a fan of this one. I've tried to trade it recently. Probably don't have time to go through fibs, Ben, but I can do that if you catch me at the beginning of another video, right? Right, let's look at that. Support slash resistance is not really being respected very well. So at the moment, this is looking like a raid up here. Okay, this up here was, I remember very clearly, this level up here. So let's look for entry triggers, exit triggers, etc. Entry trigger moved back above 8085, right? I trust the 4 hourly time frame here. Apart from that, I'm not looking for anything right now with VeChain. The reason being is because of this. The amount of volume that got traded there was pretty worrying, right? I was trading that and got caught in that. Had to cover myself for half an hour. Typical Elliott wave traders most probably will give you something like this. It's just a 1, 2, 3, or 5 movement up. Now this may not be finished. Yeah, this may not be finished. If not, I'd like to trade it once back above 8042, and I'd like to trade it up to 10168, the next resistance. Yeah. So for me, that's a breakout trade. Consolidation trade here. I don't fancy it. I don't fancy it. Okay, fair enough. We can say that we're at level of support here, and there's another one down here. The only level of support I fancy to take is this lower one, and I still don't like that. The reason I don't like that is because you form, it's not really a double top, but it's two strong movements within the same range, and a horrible rejection there. Horrible rejection. Really nasty rejection there. So I just want to see it break above that level and show to me that buyers want VeChain for now. Unless you're talking about scalping, then I say something different. Scalp opportunity coming. Let's take a fib of that entire movement. Yeah, so I'd take it around here. There'll be a scalp op in this kind of area if it comes down. Probably to this previous breakdown point. So you're looking for some sort of structure in this range that will help you to take it upwards. So that'll be a trade to look for if you want to do local time frames. Yeah, no problem. It's not really a complicated analysis. I'd be happy to highlight other trade opportunities if the market wasn't apexing, right? When the market's apexing, I don't want to talk about other levels. I just want to talk about clear levels, you know? Okay, that concludes the live stream here. I don't think I have any more questions apart from Ben, but we'll talk about that another time. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. It's Saturday night, so whatever you're doing tonight, have a lovely evening. And I wish you well for Sunday. Thank you, and peace.